Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I decided to take a little simple, take it a little easy, and in an attempt to work through my burnout, I'm going through all of my art books. Okay, when I say all, I don't mean all. Clearly, I'm not going to go through every art book I own. I'm focusing mostly on 90s and 2000s animated movies, and I'm only using 5 for this video, but they're all great, and you should, if you can, run and get one. So the first book on my list is The Art of Lilo and Stitch. This art book is a little bit different. It's not pulling art from a myriad of artists that worked on the movies. It's mostly the artwork of Chris Sanders, who created Lilo and Stitch, and he is, I believe, the lead designer on this movie. Most of the stylistic choices in Lilo and Stitch are based around his art, and this is great for all the watercolor backgrounds. That's my favorite part about this. There is so much work and detail in all these settings and landscapes and designing for this movie. So the watercolor and graphite for me is my favorite part. Love seeing that. Great inspiration if you like background work. The next book on my list is The Art of Tarzan, or the Tarzan Chronicles, whichever you want to call it. This one, for me, I think this is, no, I'm not gonna say it's my favorite one of the set. I have a favorite, it's not this one, but I love seeing all the traditional media that they use to do the development work for this movie. Like this picture, for instance, breathtaking. There's a lot of use of like shadows and colors that are really effective. Like, this is striking. Come on, look at this face. And the little dots of white to highlight the teeth in the eye. Oh, I live for it. I love this painting so much. This is a more traditional art book versus the Lilo and Stitch one. The Lilo and Stitch one focused solely on Chris Sanders' art. This one pulls from different artists. And one of the things that stood out to me is all the work by Glenn Keane. If you are an animation buff or a Disney fan, you probably know or have heard of Glenn Keane. He's a character designer that worked in a bunch of different Disney animated movies, and his work is unparalleled. He's the GOAT for a reason. And one thing about Tarzan is how much focus and detail there was in the anatomy of the human form and getting it right. Like all the articulation of the joints and getting all those like knuckle movements so that he can hold his hand like a gorilla. Like it's just so beautifully detailed and informative to look through how they workshopped and figured out how to make or render the body. It's just so, for me, it stood out a lot. I really love, that's one of my favorite things about this art book in particular. All the work on figuring out the backgrounds and settings for this movie are also pretty they look great. You can see it. I love the different interpretations of like the jungle and trees and how to make them look interesting versus, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I draw backgrounds, sometimes the trees are just lines in the background. They're never this detailed. And yeah, I really enjoyed seeing the detail work in the backgrounds as well as the human elements and gorilla and the animal elements. A lot of animals in this. The next book on my list has been a bit of a white whale for a while, and I finally got it. I got it a while back, but it took a while to get there. And it's The Prince of Egypt. If you've seen this movie, you know that this is one of the Hall of Famers for beautiful animation. The movie is gorgeous, and one of the things that I love the most about the art book is seeing the color and lighting. This is my favorite for figuring out different color schemes and different ways to light the background. I think sometimes when you're doing background work, you kind of get stuck in the sky's blue, sand is sandy colored, it's tan. And I think this book really pushes what a skyscape can look like, what a rock can be, like the colors a rock could be, the colors the ocean could be. And I think this is a great one for figuring out different lighting and color treatments for things. Like, look at this hellfire rain from the sky. Come on, this is pretty epic. So now we've come to the art book that I think is actually my favorite of the bunch. And it's, I don't know if you can guess from the things we've seen so far, but it's actually, hold on, let me turn the page. You could probably guess now. Say it with me, kids. The Art of Pocahontas. Yes, that is correct. This is honestly my favorite book. And I think it was a bit of a hidden gem because I did get this in like the bargain bin section of the Strand for like 20 bucks. So I feel like I got away with murder that day. So the concept art in this book kind of runs a gamut in style. There are pieces that look like this that are very Mary Blair inspired, I guess you would say, like they feel very Mary Blair like. Then there's things like this that are very sketchy. And then you have, as we go through the book, you'll see more like the Glen Keane work in this as well. I truly enjoy the different styles that are in this book that all feel correct for this movie. Oh, there's a plane flying overhead. Hold on. Okay, I'm gone. Plane is gone. We're good. I've noticed as I go through this that I'm focusing a lot on the landscapes in all of these books for some reason. I don't know, I guess they're speaking to me, but I really love how in the landscapes for this book, the wind seems to be its own element. You get a lot of curvy, like white pathways through all the scenery, and that's meant to represent like the colors of the wind, so to speak, and like the atmosphere is its own character within the landscapes, and you get a lot of organic, really fun curving lines and shapes throughout the landscape work, and I love that. And then we're back with our old friend Glen Keane with some more character work. I love the facial features that he had for Pocahontas here. I think they're so striking and very beautiful. I really, really enjoyed looking at his character work in this book in particular. I also, which we're gonna get to that in a minute, but there's he does like this, here we are right here. He does this thing with charcoal where you get some really strong expressions and movement. And I don't know, I really enjoyed seeing the charcoal. It adds like an element of drama to a very dramatic scene, obviously, but this was, I think, some of my favorite pieces in this whole book. In addition to the piece we're about to see now, this one takes the cake. That one little strip of light above her eye, everything else in shadow. Oh, I live for it. I love it. I think one thing that really stands out to me about this book is that there's a lot of physicality to normally unseen elements in nature with this book, which makes sense. This movie does have a lot of nature elements and being one with nature, etc., etc. So it makes sense that nature feels like such a character, and I think the artwork really helps sell that point. And you can see that all the way down to the developmental work for this movie, from the color to like the shape language to, I don't know, how they interpret it flowing through trees and stuff like that. I just, chef's kiss. And then finally, we have my girl Anastasia. Shout out to the goat. Okay, I love this movie. This book is a little worse for wear. I got this one used as well. I think they're all used, but this one was a little bit rough, a little bit handled a little roughly, but it's okay. We love her. This book in particular, the thing that I really enjoyed about this book is definitely all these paintings that they were doing, like for the movie, because obviously we're taking place during a time when there's Russian czars, etc. There's a lot of opulence in the costume work and the paintings that happen in the backgrounds for everything, and I feel like they did a good job of reinterpreting the painting styles of yesteryear. What I mean to say is they had to reinterpret paintings of royal paintings for an animated movie and still have it look luxurious and still have it be simplified enough that it works in the context of the movie. And I think they did a really good job, and I love seeing it. So nowadays, like, art books I have nowadays really do spend time to show you like the expressions and the turnarounds and things like that when it comes to their character designs. I don't often see it in too many of the art books I have for animated movies of this era. So it was really interesting to see the full breakdown for Anya and stuff like that in this book, from her hair detailing to like her mouth placements when she's saying different things. That was really fascinating to see. I also do love these fold out pages. If you remember this scene, very traumatic scene in the movie. So once again, I'm going to be heavy on the background elements for this movie being a point of interest. The thing that was cool to see versus the other books that are on the list is that this one is more of a cityscape. So there's a lot more bright lights in Paris, and looking at trains and streets, and seeing that interpretation of a background is very interesting. And it was also highly detailed. There was so much emphasis in putting all the trees, the cobblestones, the Eiffel Tower obviously in the background. That was very fascinating to see because it was very chock full of line art that it was hard to focus on just one thing. You're looking at the whole scale like, whoa, this is crazy. Then there's also the fact that this movie, the color scheme of this movie is very jewel toned. Lots of greens and reds and purples, which I think was very fun. I love seeing the colors for this movie as well. I don't know if it was as good for you as it was for me, but I love going through these older art books. Shout out to 90s and 2000s animated movies. The artwork behind all of these are always so infinitely detailed, so beautiful, and they pull from so many different mediums of art and not just digital. And I don't know, something about it just makes you feel good. So I thought in this era of burnout that this would be useful, helpful, inspire me a little bit to glean something from artists who are infinitely better than me at what they do. So that was a really nice trip through my art books just now. Anyway, if you like this video, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe and hit that notification bell and all the other YouTube things down below. Please, we're trying to grow the channel, right? We're sitting in a smooth 500 subs. Trying to go up to 1,000. Help a girl out. But yes, new videos on my channel every other Saturday. We're trying. It's been a busy summer, but we're trying. Anyway, I'll see you guys not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that. And until then, I'll catch you on the internet sometime. Bye!